Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're having some connectivity issues over here, so I'm trying to get everything all together. Let me move this a bit. We're having a little bit of connectivity issues, so we're trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I got it all together. It is uh, Tuesday. Let's get it together, right? It is Tuesday, April 25th, which is a beautiful thing. We are back at it. Let's show that it is Tuesday, April 25th. We are back at it this morning. So grateful to have you guys this morning for the morning dew for certified doers that just get up and get stuff done. Whether you're getting up at 6:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m. and getting at it, we just do. I definitely wanted to say, this past week has been oh, good morning. I see you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Has been pretty varsity. We've got a lot going on, and this week is going to be even more crazier, as we say, with scheduling and things that are happening. I just want to first put out there that we have our last redistricting town hall. Redistricting, if you don't know what it is, then you probably need to be here at this town hall we're having. We've had three, one in each of the new house districts that we have in our city, which is 92, 93, and 94. And then we didn't do one in 95 because that's a tiny piece of Norfolk. But so our final one, which will be at Pretlow Library, tonight at 5:30, where we're just going to talk about redistricting, what it is, what it means, why it's happening, and all that stuff. So like, if you're a person that's like, I have no idea what's happening with redistricting, what does it even mean, what I don't know, that's cool. We'll break it down, and then we'll help make sure that you find your we'll make sure that you find your space and place. And then our goal always as doers is to make sure that we share that information, right? We can't be solo dolo with having and hoarding all the information. As always, come to Titus Town. I see Free Joy says, come to Titus Town. I am, and with the redistricting, let me say this too, because I've had a couple people be like, hey, can I take this from the brief? You absolutely can take any part of the brief. I don't have to be the deliverer. If you request the briefing, I can give it to you. If you want me to come to your civic league, or you want me to do it at your organization, I'm here for it. Just reach out to the office. For those of you on Instagram, you can't see it because you're not connected to our big thing that shows all the places. But our email is delglass, Del like delegate, J like Jackie, Glass at house.virginia spelled out.gov. Message us, just let us know. As long as I have the bandwidth, I will make it my point. I think the best thing that we can do is educate ourselves. Good morning, Preston. Good morning. Yeah, so like, we're here for it. But again, if you are a trainer yourself and you got your people, I'm more than happy to. Do not reinvent the wheel. Do not try to figure it out. I will give you the brief. It has all of the notes, so it's a pick up and go. So you don't have to try and figure out what the slides mean or anything like that. That is a service that we do for each other, as our goal is always to educate, advocate, celebrate, and legislate. But we can't legislate well without educating, advocating, and celebrating really good. And we start with education. So if you want that brief, it's yours. It's yours. This Saturday at 8 a.m., we will be planting our trees into their little buckets. If you're interested, I think my comms team should be putting up a link just telling you the details on that location and how that works, how we're going to be getting the tree stuff going. So again, tonight, the last redistricting brief. You can also catch me this evening at Prime 255. There is going to be some creative conversation with the creatives. Let me make sure I'm saying this right so that y'all are in the know. Something for the creatives, it's called. As you may know, that we brought forth some legislation this year that had to do with really celebrating and appreciating our creative capital. So I'll be there listening to what the creatives are saying, because we're going to keep bringing stuff like this forward as we learn how to value our creative economy. As we learn how to value our creative economy and do better. Wednesday, Wednesday is going to be a really long day. I will be out of pocket, but the reason why I'm gone is pretty cool. I'll be at the White House for a conversation on non-consensual um, uh, image use online. So pretty much like revenge porn. I brought forth some legislation or co-patron legislation on sextortion this past year that was lended me the opportunity to go tomorrow for a small working group. So I'm saying this out to you. If any of you all have been victims of, know someone who's been a victim of either sextortion, and what I mean by that is someone saying, if you don't do this, then I will release these pictures of you online, right? If you don't, or revenge porn. Maybe you had a scorned boyfriend, girlfriend that was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this video that we made together online, or whatever it is. That's a huge concern. One of my biggest concerns now with that is now that we're able to do deep fakes, people can just put your face on anything. So we'll go and we'll talk about that, and also talk about what Congress is doing with veteran benefits. So there's that. If you have, as I walk into what we're talking today, if you have a community event, a community opportunity, if there's something that you want us to know or share, please drop it in the comments at 6:55. I will roll through those. I will make sure that we tell. So if you got a community event, if you got all the things, drop that in the comments. If you have questions, comments, you know what to do. Just put them in the comments. Miss Charlene has already said today is Giving Tuesday. Today is good. And no, I'm not asking for me, because while we are nonprofits, we are not those kinds of nonprofits for Giving Tuesday. Give 757. You can give to your favorite .org is where you can give to your favorite charity. A lot of your charities out there are probably also have matches where they're looking for you to give. So my favorites are Young Investors Group and Reach, Reading Enriches All Children, and ERT. And I'll say they're my favorites because I just happen to sit on those boards and really believe in the mission that the ERT is not just the Elizabeth River Trail, it's everybody's recreational trail, that we have to invest in our youth in a way that makes sense, and that reading lets you travel places that you have never done, and we have to build young readers. So there that is. So again, drop your stuff in the chat. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Miss I froze up somewhere. Let me do that. Thank you, Miss Charlene, for said the internet is being weird. I hope that I didn't freeze up on you all as well. That my connection isn't, just give it a second. I don't know if you guys can still hear me or still see me. There's something going on with the connection here. No, okay. No, you did not. Okay, great. So it just must be on Instagram. We'll just have to let Instagram figure out its life real quick. Great. Thank you, Elena, and thank you. I mean, I am really excited about having the opportunity to go to the White House and do good work. So thank you. I'm trying to get pumped about it, but it's business. We're going to go work. So I'm like, we got work to do. So we got work to do. So that's where my head is. I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of, I've never been before that's an experience that I need to also soak in and just to take it for what it is and be grateful for the opportunity. But I'm going to work. I'm going to work for real. So today, what we have on deck, let's see. I don't know what's going on here. What we have on deck today is, let me pull up my stuff because which is, okay. Sorry, I don't know why it's that way, but I'm gonna keep moving. And if you have anything on IG and you can't hear us, that you can, if you can still stand sitting here and not being able to see me, then there it is. Boom, there it is. Boom. So I fixed it. You can stand it, then great. So here's what I've got, right? We talked a couple days ago about the Board of Education and how they were shifting gears they were having the discussions around whether or not they were going to use absenteeism as a means for accreditation, right? So what you all understand, given backstory, is that our schools are accredited on based off 9 standards, one of them being absenteeism. Now you had Virginia did good morning, good morning. So Virginia, we paused absenteeism, meaning how much folks are absent, our children are absent from school. And I'll go to what that criteria means. And I know we talked a little bit about this before, but we will start back evaluating our schools' efforts to get kids in the classroom regularly now. So that's happening, right? There was a pause in it because of COVID. There was a pause, but last Thursday, students, we're still at an all-time high, right? Last Thursday, the Board of Education voted 6-2 to continue to use absenteeism as a means for accreditation. What I want you guys to put in the comments, like for real, because I had this conversation with my policy team, and we really sort of like really dug into is it wild to not use the measurement of who is in classrooms as a means to determine the accreditation for the school, or is it wise? Like, you can tell, is that wild or wise? Because what I do know is I have people in my life, other community members, that have said, look, I'm not sending my kid back to school, right? Like, that's just it. I'm going to try homeschooling. I'm going to do this. Or, like, I'm really not putting too much stock in it, because when my kid does go to school, there's all of these other problems happening around them. So like, when I think about why children don't show up to school, I'm not trying to hypothesize on everyone's means, motives, or intention, because you can't measure intent. But I know that there's so many different reasons as to why our young scholars are not in school. When we talk about absenteeism, for you guys, just so that you understand what we mean by chronic absenteeism, it means that you miss more than 10% of the academic year, and 10% is about 18 days. So that person or that child is classified as absenteeism. We had a conversation, and again, I want to have this conversation with y'all, so please drop your thoughts in the chat. Is that is there a level? I'm of the school of thought, as a parent, that has been really tried to be a great advocate with the educational system, and ran up against some really great experiences and some really terrible experience, that it's a partnership, right? Like, the parents are a part of it, the school systems are a part of it, the community's a part of it. Like, we all play a role in pretty much the social, emotional well-being of a child when they walk into our community and when they walk into our schools. But like I said, the pandemic has shifted so much, and I've looked at my little citizens in the neighborhood, their thought processes, their ideas, their attitude about being in school. My own child was like, if I didn't have to go, I don't think I would go, but I definitely don't want to do virtual school. I definitely don't want to do virtual school. And it is a difficult space to be in. So again, last year we did suspend that indicator for accreditation due to COVID, but because there was a spike in respiratory illnesses. But we've got one school of thought, which is 6 folks on the board. This is our state board. This is where we liaison with you, right? This is where as a state delegate, I should be paying attention to have a lot of insight. You have one school of thought that's like, if we get rid of this accreditation standard, then what'll happen? Will it increase? And I look at, and something our team talked about the other day, is what is the relationship to absenteeism and the crime that is happening, right? Because I hear from my educator friends that, like, look, these kids are wild. They come. So are there young people that are showing up to school just because they know there's that level? And I will tell you, as a parent of a young man who, when he was little, all attention was good attention. It didn't matter if he was getting chastised for something or he was being celebrated for something. All attention was good attention for him. That they're going to the school, getting the attention, or creating some attention situations where it's causing our classrooms to be rough. Let me look at the comments and see what we got here. So David Glass says, get the parents in the classroom also. Was kind of surprised only 4 folks showed up to the Newport News meeting for input. Yeah, I saw that, and they made sure to say that in the report, in the news report. Absolutely, I did love having access to the classroom and being in there, because the reason why I started the organization Mamas on the Block was because I believe that there are a lot of us. Like, I have 2 children, and if life would have given me the circumstances, I probably would have had more, but my life didn't provide that. So I want to be a co-parent with my educators and my community for the other kids in the community. So I know that not all parents can show up in the classroom, and we really have to get that mindset that sometimes there are parents that are doing their absolute best. They're showing up the best way that they can. And as parents, I do believe that we're doing our best even when we're sucking, because we don't know where we're coming from. Our best should change and try to get better every day. But I'm with you, David. I think there has to be space to allow folks in the classroom. Let me say that out loud. Dr. Chioma Griffin said, public schools have failed Black youth. Our resources are less and equal demands. I am so with you. I say this to myself and well, again, talking with our policy team about how we feel and what we're going to do with this information and where do we go from here? Who do we need to be meeting with? Because again, this is a state level thing, and we also need to have our conversation with our Board of Education. What I hold in my hands here in the city of Norfolk is that in our school district, a Lindenwood exists and a Larchmont exists, right? These 2 things do exist in one district, one school with so resourced so well, and we can talk about the outside factors, right? We can talk about the economic difference, but when we walk to that school is not just the economics of that neighborhood. That school is the economics of our city. And so when I see inequities, even within a district, I don't just look up to the state as a resource. I look at the central office and so how we've been resourcing these schools. So I think that, yes, less resources. And when you say resources, I don't think that's just money. That there's a lot of things, and then we have to, like I said, think about how can things like that exist in one district, and then where do we go from there? Who is accountable? Because accreditation is supposed to be accreditation and accountability, and I fully expect that you all get at my neck about what it is that we are not doing, so that we can be better advocates on the up to make sure that as we come to, and I don't like to say down to the local government, but when we come to our partners in care, our partners in taking care of people, the local government, that we're able to have a better conversation about what is or is not happening. Charlene said she had a conversation with her students after our exchange about this last week. Ooh, I would love to hear about what. Oh, she did. Oh, okay. I just said Charlene. I said okay, Shar. Sorry, Shar. I'm looking it up at the wrong thing. Shar. So Shar is actually at IC Norcom High School, and what she said is that most said that the state data is 20%. Is 20%. Then schools like IC Norcom and Booker T and Heritage have higher rates. You are absolutely right. We have schools within our district where the absenteeism is upwards to 40+%, where you have, unfortunately, there's the sentiment for some parents that I've talked to that said, listen, I'm sending my kid to school, and then they're walking in with a long-term sub and then not getting what they need. And then they're walking in to fail. So then they'll go to SOL and they've got this long-term sub and they're not prepared for what it is that comes next. And it just hurts their children in a way where they're coming into school and they don't feel like that the system is setting up for success. But then you have the folks that's like, I look at the products that come out of our school system and say, like, it ain't all bad. It's not all bad, but we got work to do. So Ezra's mama says it's so important. This is on Instagram. So it's so important for the adults and the teachers to listen to the children's need instead of trying to come up what they think the children need. The community needs to invest and help these kids grow. I can second and third that emotion. That's why I have the conversation with the little citizens. I sat in uh, VA meeting with my actually my son, and I don't think anybody knew that he was my son at that point. And they were talking about this, about the kids and not showing up to school and blah blah blah. And he asked them, and I thought it was very very telling that he asked them. He said, "Well, how many of you guys ditched school when you were kids?" He's like, "How many?" And then everybody was like, "Ugh." He's like, "Oh, so like there are kids that are just gonna do it for the fun of it." He's like, "But my generation of kids have had this massive break, right? This massive break in school, and now we come back, and it's like there's no effort to make it interesting. There's no effort." And so he expressed his sentiment about being in classrooms where it feels like they're just, you got the teacher to say that's just there. You just read the thing and come on. Yeah. Like there's not a care for them there. So there's also that burnout that we have educators going back into the school, and it's not the best thing. We all had this break, and it has broken us in some ways. And now we're trying to fix while having accountability. But I haven't heard any real solutions, again, from present company or otherwise. I haven't heard any real solutions outside of listening, which is what I can do. We can do that. We can listen, but I'm looking for what is the so what now what? And that's why we're out here in the community. My goal is probably we want to have a town hall just for young people on this sort of thing. Holding a lot of things on the plate, so we'll see what happens. But that's something definitely we want to talk to them, particularly about the school system, because they've experienced something that we can't even imagine at that point in our lives, like fathom what that could do to our knowledge, skills, abilities, and attitudes about the educational system. So I hear you. Shar also said that her high school students said mental health of both parents and students play a big part. And how could we not empathize with that? It is difficult. I'll say this as a parent who has kids that do show up to school, that do some days I'm just like, I do, and I'll speak from my own experiences, is that even before the pandemic, I always gave my little citizens, they get one day off just because they needed off a quarter. So just take that day. You're allowed to say, I need a day, right? Because I get it. At least I feel like I sort of understand. And they each have learned how to take that day wisely. Like, can I take my day? But I know that I am still fatigued as the person who was trying to be the community mom from COVID. And there, I want to be more actively involved, but it can be tough. And I don't know what some of your parents' sentiment are. Shar brings up a very good point, is that the mental health of parents and also what they went through. I'd love to hear your feedback on that, seriously. But again, I want to get to the so what now what. I just don't think conversationally, whether it's the Board of Education, it's the executive branch, because the governors, the executive branch, the governors, he wants us to remove, his policy team wants us to remove the absentee standard, which I think we can't. Data helps us walk towards a problem. And so I think that we don't stop collecting that data. I know that data will still be a piece of it. And I don't think, I think that they know that if we do this, if we continue to use absenteeism as a means to accreditate schools, that there's going to be a significant number of schools that are not going to pass that piece of the accreditation standards. And I don't think that it's because they care about the kids. I think it's selfishly, so he doesn't have a Virginia that looks like, as he runs for president of Virginia, that looks like it doesn't have kids in schools. If that's our thing, then that's our thing, and we do something about our thing. And so I would much rather than, personally, like, this is what I'm thinking right now as the delegate. But I think that can change if I hear some different things as we learn and grow in this. That right now, I think we still have to measure. We still have to have that accountability while really getting some real solutions towards the what's next. So to Ezra's mama, we got to hear the kids. To Shar, who's already doing it as an educator, thank you so much for listening to the children and to the young people, and also their parents. Elena says, I think we put too much emphasis on accreditation and not making sure our children are safe in a safe, loving environment. NPS has great teachers and the families too. Leadership is an issue. Concur, right? I concur. I think part of it, at least for me with accreditation, is like, it's just giving you an understanding of where we are. Like, I don't put all my eggs in that. As I said earlier, I feel like that, Elena, that we have amazing schools and we produce an amazing product. I just look at the people in the community doing the things, that are products of Norfolk Public Schools. We have to be able to measure what our issues are and not make that be the sum of who these schools are, not that make that be the sum of who our scholars are or who our parents are. It's not the sum of them. These are just indicators to help us do better. But I don't know that we've always used the indicators, whether it's the standards of learning or the quality standards, to do better. Again, that's so what now what. I agree with you that the safe piece is a huge thing. And we haven't even talked about the safe piece yet. Oh, no, you're welcome. We're past time. So what I want to do, I know I started 5 minutes late. So in 1 minute, if you've got a community event, a community thing going on, please drop it in the comments, whether you're on Instagram or you're on Facebook, IG, YouTube, or Twitter. Drop it in the comments and keep it moving. I will go ahead and shout that out in 1 minute. The next, Charlene says, the problems are also so complex and we need to find a way to make changes for our children. The governor has a different agenda for public education. I do not disagree with you on that our agendas are very different. And so, which is why I think I was a little suspect when they were like, let's remove absenteeism from, and that may be my pause, is that because I know that their idea is so different about what. I don't believe in privatizing the public school system. I believe that there's a lot of brokenness. I mean, we have to be honest about what is. We can't be blindly optimistic about what we have. I think there are a lot of advocates who are always saying, fully fund our schools, fully fund our school, fully fund our school. And I was like, well, let's look at a thing, right? And let's get to the so what now what. As Elena just said on Facebook, Elena says we should measure. However, we should not penalize schools for it. Concur. Because that puts our educators and our school administration and support teams in a position where those standards become more important than those students. And I believe in students over standards or scholars over standards. Like, we really gotta. I concur. I agree with you on that. So what now what? Again, so letting you guys know, last Thursday, the vote happened 6-1 for the State Board of Education that absenteeism will continue to be a part of accreditation. That some school districts, they are trying to combat absenteeism. And for those of you who are joining us, chronic absenteeism is missing 10% of the school year, which is about 18 days. They're having, absentee weekly attendance team meetings, analyzing why scholars are missing schools and providing interventions. And that's what the Department of Education showed us. So my question is for you. I wish I had it on me. I tried to search for it this morning, where you can check out, if you go to the Department of Education's website, you can check out your school, like what they are or are not, your neighborhood school or whatever. You can check out the attendance ratings. You can check out all of that online. I wish I had the link with me right now. I apologize, I do not. But when I do, I think we'll post it on our socials and stuff, so you guys can get there. Yep. So that you can see what's happening in your own backyard. This has been real. It's been real and it's been good. Hopefully, we get to a new space and place. I will be live. Let me verify before I say this, because we are scheduled for Thursday. Yep. We will be live next Thursday. I do want to talk about a community event that our team has coming up. It is the second annual Norfolk Can Fly that happens at the Signature Passenger Terminal at Norfolk International Airport. It's an opportunity for our young people to understand the workforce and all the things around aviation, whether it's air traffic control. It's a family event. You'll see a bunch of folks that are private citizens fly in their planes. One guy who made his own plane at home will have it there. It is on May 13th from 10 to 2 p.m. at the Signature Passenger Terminal. It is also an event on Eventbrite, so you can come, bring the kiddies. I really love, one kid came last year in his baseball uniform. It was so cute, and got to fly a little drone. We fly the drones in the hangar, and there'll be opportunities. I know it is Mother's Day weekend, but there will be opportunities for the moms that are there to win some free massages from the local community college. So May 13th, Norfolk Can Fly. I want you to be there with your whole family. I gotta say this though. Last time we had adults that did career shifts, like actual people that came to the event and changed their career field. Thanks to Shar, she brought the IC Norcom. NJROTC came, and they really just made it the best time ever. So we had St. Mary's, I believe, the home for children with disabilities. They brought their folks out there so that the kids could enjoy the event. And even though they were differently able, they got a chance to just be a part of the aviation experience. So I want y'all there. That's all. I just want y'all to come. That's it. All right. So be well until Thursday. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to hit up our office. Do great, be great, certified doers. We get more done. Till next time, I'm Jackie Glass, mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 89th District. Don't forget, always would love a contribution. Let's keep the work going. Be well.